What constitutes a good person? Does anybody know? What constitutes a good person? What's a good person really about? I was at physical therapy the other day. Ex-MMA fighter. Definitely have a lot of injuries. I had a hip surgery. And I got there, and I used to drive a taxi, and I see this woman sitting out by the waiting room that used to ride in my taxi. I used to drive Medicab, and I couldn't remember her name, but I remember driving her around a lot. And I said, "Hey, how you doing? Do you remember me?" She goes, "I'm not sure." She was really old, and I talked to her for a quick minute, and then I went to do my therapy session. Now, it looked like she was waiting on her ride. And I probably should have asked her if she was, because the company that I used to work for, it was a good company, but they often ran late. And it really turned into a problem for some of the customers. So she's sitting out there waiting. I do my 45-minute, physical therapy session, and she's still out there. So I went out there and I said, "Hey, do you need a ride? I remember where you live." I said, "It's only like 4 miles from here," or something like that, right? She goes, "Yeah." And I said, I'll give you a ride if that's okay with you. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. And she had to be 80 something. And she goes, "Yeah, if that's okay with you." I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'm like, I'm off today. I don't have anywhere to be. So they made sure that was okay. The people, at the physical therapy place, and they said I could bring her home. I said, okay. And everybody there was like, "Oh, wow, Mike, you're such a nice guy. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you're giving somebody a ride home." I'm like, I don't think you have to be that nice of a guy to give an old lady a ride home down the street who's been sitting in an uncomfortable chair for a month. Or not a month, sorry, for an hour. And I don't think you need to know that person either. Because what are the chances that a little old lady is going to hurt you? Especially if you're a man by yourself. Probably not a high chance of that. Now, if I had my family with me and it was some dude, some big guy, and it was like, "Hey man, can you give me a ride? I'm stuck here." It would have been a little different. I would have been like, "I'm sorry, if it was just me, I would consider it, but I got the kids with me and stuff, and I don't know you, so I'm going to have to pass." But everybody in there was like, "Oh man, you're just such a nice guy. Oh, it's so sweet of you." And I'm like, I don't think you have to be that nice of a guy to do that. I don't think you have to be that sweet of a person to do that. I don't think it takes a whole lot to take 15 minutes out of your day to make sure that a senior citizen can get home safely. I'm not that good of a guy. I come from a dark past. I wasn't the best guy 10 years ago. I really wasn't. I was somebody that I was not proud to be. And I was not somebody that I wanted to introduce to the whole world all the time. I was very vain. I was very prideful. I was very ego-driven. And I was just wild, and I was very selfish as well. And I never wanted to take any responsibility. And even back then, I probably still would have given her a ride. I don't think it takes that much. So I didn't take the compliments. I was telling them, I said, "Nah, I'm not. I'm just a guy. Just like a regular guy. Not even that great of a guy. I'm not Billy Graham. I'm not Franklin Graham. I'm not Joyce Meyer. I'm not Jordan Peterson. Like, I'm just a dude. And if somebody needs help and you can help them, especially without putting yourself at risk, or, just go for it. Because if you were in that situation, I bet you would be wishing that somebody would help you too. And especially when it comes to senior citizens, man. These people paved the way. So stay blessed up, give back. It feels good. And don't take too much credit for it either, because none of us are perfect. None of us are even close. And Jesus paid the price for us on that cross so that we can always be forgiven of our sins. So it's not too late. Get blessed up and start helping people however you can.